Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode. Where are we at? 1449. It's Sunday. Happy Sunday. I was just on Twitter and I saw somebody, I don't know who I want to win today. I'm like, oh, I forgot we were predicting the Masters win. Now, I didn't watch any of the Masters and I probably won't watch any of the Masters today. I'm not a golf fan. But since we talked about it last week, or was it last week? Earlier this week, I guess. When does the new week start? Sunday or is it Monday? I think technically the new week begins on Sunday. I think. Is that how that works? I don't know. I always say Monday. Anyway, so I just brought up the Masters leaderboard because somebody had brought it up in the chat earlier this week, and I predicted Scotty Scheffler, and it doesn't look like he's competing for the he is. He's up there. He's at 5 under par, which is in a tie for 6th place. Justin Rose also at 5 under. Rory McIlroy. Wow. Rory. He's at minus 12. Bryson DeChambeau. He was another one that I don't know if I mentioned it by name, but when I saw his name, I'm like, oh, he might be somebody. So I think it's probably down to those two. Chuck Connors, the rifleman. No, I don't know if it's Chuck. It's Corey Connors. It just says C. Connors on my leaderboard here. Corey Connors is in 3rd going into the final day at 8 under par. And then we've got Reed and Aberg at 6 under, and then we've got a logjam at 5 under. Day, Scheffler, Rose, Lowry. So there you go. So Rory McIlroy in the lead going into the final day. Bryson DeChambeau 2 strokes behind, and then the rifleman Corey Connors currently sitting in 3rd place at the Masters. Anybody going to be watching? I won't. Maybe I'll get a hair up my ass and be like, I'll check it out. Is Rory going to win? But probably not. Hey, speaking of winning, how about the Chicago Cubs? They won last night. They beat the Dodgers, Cooter's beloved Dodgers, 16-0. Cubs put up a 16-burger on the Los Angeles Dodgers last night. 16-0, 16-zip, 16 nada, nothing, 0. Zilch, 16-0. Cubs win. Cubs win. Cubs win. The Cubs have outscored the Dodgers in their, how many games now? 4 games, I think they've played, like 23-16 or something, which you take the 16 burger out last night. And it's what? Dodgers have outscored the Cubs 16-7. I think, let me see. Somebody in one of my group chats had the numbers. The aggregate 20-13. So the Dodgers outside of last night have outscored the Cubs 13-4. So not great, but hey, we'll take the 16-0 win last night. They play tonight. I don't know. Does ESPN still do Sunday night baseball? It's a Sunday night game, Dodgers and Cubs, if ESPN still does Sunday night games, but it is a night game. So nice Cubs win. I'm going to talk about my storage unit sale that I held yesterday. It was a success, and I'll go into it. I want to talk about, last night was Passover. And so we had plans to go to a friend's house for the Seder and for dinner. I am not religious by any means. I can't even say I grew up Methodist because I went to church like twice. But I don't do organized religion, just not my thing. And it makes me uncomfortable because I don't do it. It makes me not uncomfortable, but I think just in general, reading in public, reading in public, I don't mind. I highly dislike reading in front of a small group or speaking in front of a small group. I would rather speak in front of 500 people than 5 people. 500 people, I have no problem. I have no problem getting up on stage, or even more than that, getting up on stage and talking, because it's so impersonal when you're speaking in front of a large crowd. In my head, when you're speaking in front of a small crowd, a group of 5, 10, 15, it's more intimate. And it's like you're making eye contact, and like it's like shit. Like they're listening to me. Like if you're in front of a crowd of 1,000 people or more, it's like, well, they're on their phones, they're, talking to people. Like it's just like, yeah. And you can look off into the distance. Like you can look off into the distance and still be speaking to the crowd, but you can't actually make eye contact with the couple that's way back there by the tree. But in a small group, like you're looking around, and like you can't look off in the distance, especially if you're in like a room or a dining room, if it's a Seder. So I'm slightly uncomfortable in those settings. And the Seder, like a traditional Seder, is like hours long. And it's like, and it's not the uncomfortability of reading and going through this whole book. And it doesn't change. It's the same thing every year. If you've had one, you've had them all. So when my wife's grandma was better, we would have, my mother-in-law would host Passover, and we would do like, just for because grandmas are always like more traditional, right? So we do a Seder, but it was like very like, well, just skip. And sometimes grandma would be like, no, we need to read this part. And we've gone to other family friends, and it's like a long drawn out Seder. And then there's like a coffee break in the middle. It's like, oh my God, where's the beer? So I didn't know how this was. I think we were under the assumption that it wasn't going to be a very long. It must not have been. So we did not get to the Seder. We did have dinner. We skipped the Seder and had dinner. Perfect. So, the reason why is not a good reason though. I get a text while I was at the storage unit, and from my wife, and she goes, her mom's man friend was in a bad car accident. He was T-boned. The action, it happened like a block from my storage unit. I heard sirens at some point, but it's a pretty main thorough. The belt line's right next to the storage unit. Mineral Point Road is a main road with all the retail. So there's a lot of shit going on. So there's always sirens, but some of those sirens were for mom's boyfriend. And so he's okay. They took him to the hospital for precautionary reasons. But obviously he didn't have a car, and he doesn't have family here. And my mother-in-law is still in Florida. So my wife went down, and she was waiting for him to get, so she's like, we might have to miss. I'm like, oh, that's not the worst thing in the world. It would be nice to have a night. We've been like foraging for food in our kitchen. It would be nice to have a nice dinner, and not just like, oh, it's chips and salsa dinner tonight. Like, what do you want? Tuna sandwich. So I wrapped up the storage unit sale. I had to go pick up Ernie from doggy daycare, and get home. And so it's like, my wife got home at like 6:30, and she's like, well, we can still go to dinner if you want. And I'm like, I did the old, well, that, where you don't want to commit one way or the other. You kind of want to test your spouse. Be like, well, and sometimes it goes one way, sometimes it can go the other. And my wife's like, oh, so sometimes and my wife will be like, well, I'm really tired. I had a long day. Let's just not go. But if I'm up for it, she'll be like, yeah, we can go. So I'm like, well, my wife's like, we haven't had a real meal in a while. She's like, I kind of want a real meal. a real dinner. I'm like, okay. All right. She's like, you don't have to go. Well, you know how that is. Do I? Do I not have? I'm like, I could use a real meal too, because we don't have nothing in the kitchen. So like, all right, let me change. So we went and so we got there, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock, somewhere around there. So and I think they were beginning the Seder at 5:30, and it was over. You know, they were already finished up and did all that stuff. So it must not have been, certainly wasn't a traditional Seder, but even might have been faster than a semi-traditional. So we get there, we have the meal, good meal, brisket, Passover special, you know. So we get to dessert. And normally I'm not a big dessert eater, but I was kind of in the mood for a dessert last night. And so we went to friends of ours and their parents, my wife's friend, her parents were in from Philly, from Philadelphia. They might be John Keating's neighbors. And so the dad made this dessert, and I guess it's like he's a great baker, and so it's like his specialty. So he brings it out, and it's like a 3-layer cake. He calls it Passover cake. I don't know if this is a real thing. Like if it's like, oh yeah, Passover, like somebody chimes in, oh yeah, Passover cake. We have that every year. It might just be something he named Passover cake. So he brings it out, and it's a three-layer cake. And so he had instructions for our friend, like, okay, get me a knife and run it under hot water and then dry it off. Okay, simple enough. Okay. So she does that, brings it out, and he's cutting, and it's just like, it is not cutting. It's like, oh my God, what is in this 3-layer cake? And it's just like, he's just massacring this cake. And he's like, well, get me a different knife. So he goes, runs it under hot water, dries it off, brings it out. And he's still like, he cannot get through this. So my wife can kind of see the cutting area of this cake. And my wife goes, I think you've got parchment paper at the bottom. I think you're cutting into the parchment paper, which makes sense, but it doesn't make sense why it was so difficult to get through the other layers. And then I come to realize it looks like the parchment's in the middle. Like it looks like it's in the middle. So they went into the kitchen to deconstruct the Passover cake. There was parchment paper in all 3 layers. So they had to pull the parchment paper out of the 3 layers. It was funny. He goes, "Oh, I was doing this at 5 a.m., so I guess I could have forgot about the parchment paper." It was delicious, by the way. It was very good. And they were able to retrieve all of the parchment paper. I wasn't flossing with parchment paper. So the Passover cake was delicious. It was nice to get out. I had a lot of sociability yesterday between the sale and Passover. So it was nice to get out, and it was nice to have a real meal. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good story to tell. So that was my day. I'll talk about the storage. The storage unit sale was a success yesterday. I will do it again. I'm going to talk about that. We're going to get to the chat. We're going to talk about the storage unit sale. I want to remind you that my store is 99centcards.com. Over 100,000 cards in my inventory. Buy 7 or more items at regular price, you'll save 25% off at checkout. The eBay light switch has been flipped on for my eBay store. I had some really atrocious sales earlier in the week. And all of a sudden, I think it was, what's today, Sunday? I think Friday was still a little slow. And then Saturday, it was like the floodgates opened. And it's like, oh my God, here's Saturday was like what my normal sales would be. Let's go to, by the way, the eBay app is awesome now. I can actually use it for selling. Up until, I don't know, even couple months ago, a month ago, probably a couple months ago. Like it was just unusable for us for selling. So I want to go down to performance, and we're gonna do customize. We're gonna start what was the 12th. All right, April 12 to April 12. So quantity sold was up to 92, which is slightly below average. My sales dollars were right around average for yesterday. Looks like I did slightly, but so for actually Friday, looks like I did do more volume on Friday. So 92 on Saturday, and then Friday. No, Friday was 63. Well, that doesn't make sense. Oh, it was doing impressions, not sold. So okay, so Friday was down. So Friday was 63, and that is way below. Like even yesterday was 92. It's closer, but still below my average. And then I'm getting my 7-day. I'm tracking one particular analytic, and it's leading me to what I was told, which I'm going to talk more about that maybe next week. Speaking of eBay, tomorrow I have my training session for eBay Live. So tomorrow, I think around, I don't even know what time. I got to look this up. I think around noon my time. So I think it's 10 a.m. West Coast. So noon tomorrow, I have my Zoom training session with eBay regarding the live platform. It's about an hour and a half. The email that I received did say that my live console will be activated upon completion. So I'm looking forward to that. I signed some contracts last week for it. So eBay Live is on the horizon. Tuesday morning here on Hobby Evolution, I will have more details on the timeline for eBay Live. It may be if I'm free to sell on eBay Live, I may go live at some point this week, just as some not really test practice run, not practice, not test, but actually real sales, but testing it out. I'm not going to do a full bore like, here we go, we're open for business. Here's an entire day of say 1,000 items are going to be for sale today, and then I don't really understand the platform that well, so I want to do some smaller sales just to get my feet wet. Maybe grab a stack of whatever, go live for an hour Tuesday night, maybe. We'll see. So stay tuned. Tuesday morning, I'll have details on the timeline. It may not be like I may have the live console activated, but I'm not ready to sell yet. I'll know more tomorrow. So stay tuned. eBay Live. I've been watching a lot of eBay Live. There's not too many sellers on eBay Live. It's been in beta, and they really haven't. eBay hasn't done much with eBay Live since that they instituted it. What, a year and a half ago? But they are now. You can see it now on your. If you go to your eBay app, which they're doing a lot of good things with the app. I used to shit all over the eBay app. I hated it. It was basically unusable for me as a seller. That is not the case anymore. If you go to the homepage on the app, right at top, right below the search bar, eBay Live, click on that. And there's only one sale going on right now. It's a comic book sale. So there you go. So looking forward to that. Let's go to the chat. And then we're going to talk about the storage unit sale that took place yesterday. Florida baseball card dude in the house. Good morning. Cooter says Card Church is in session. Yes, we are in session. Todd's here. Good morning. Congrats on the sale and the Cubs win last night. Thank you, Todd. Mikey is here. Good morning. He is at Kroger from the Kroger pickup. JW's here. Good morning. That Cubs game last night was an awesome one to watch, and I didn't watch any of it. I think we were home. No. Oh yeah, it was still going on because it was a late game. We didn't get home till it was like 9:30, 9:45 last night. It was a late night for me. It's a very late night. Odd Merchants in the house went to the 525 table show in St. Paul. Maybe 2 quarter boxes in the whole place. That's what happens. All the YouTube videos of the card celebs have ruined the bargain box. Now it's all $1, $3, and $5. I disagree with your second sentence. I disagree that influencers have ruined the bargain box. You're not going to find, and I think somebody might have mentioned this later on, you're not going to find many bargain boxes at 500 table card shows. Because the bigger the card show, the more expensive the tables are. And I think I saw Cooter mention this. The more expensive the tables are, the more quarter cards you have to sell. And if you're only making $200-$300 in a day on quarter box cards or $500, table prices for a 500 table show are probably in that $400 range. So if you have one, and if you're a bargain box, think about it. You probably want to have more than one table of bargain boxes, especially if you're doing 25-cent boxes. So you're spending upwards of $1,000 on table fees. Do you know how many quarter cards you have to sell to make back $1,000? Plus, it's a multi-day show, and you've got likely 2 to 3 nights of hotels. Plus, you're probably spending some money driving in. Plus, your time. Time is money. So quarter boxes, just you can't make it work unless you have an absolute insane amount of traffic like the National Sports Card Collector Convention, where you can make a lot of money, and a lot of those quarter box dealers have prearranged deals. Hey, you can buy, speaking of prearranged deals and bargain boxes, my buddy Chris from the Singles Club, I think, called me last night. He did. I need to call him back. Which is a great booth at the National. So there you go. So I highly disagree with this. YouTube influencers have not ruined the bargain box by any means. You go to a card show, you go to any card show, especially a monthly card show, and you're like, hey, do you watch this guy on YouTube? And they're like, what's YouTube? Like 99% of collectors don't know who any of these card influencers are on YouTube. So I highly disagree with it. And most big shows, you go to the Chicago Sports Spectacular, there's like 2. You go to the Spectacular, I was just there in March. I don't think there was a single quarter box at the Chicago Sports Spectacular, and it's 500 tables. There were at least 2 50-cent boxes. But everything else is $1, $3, and $5. So, and that's how it's not always been, but that's how it's been for a while. And it's not because of YouTube influencers. It's because the prices of tables are expensive. When the Chicago Sports Spectacular tables were $100, $200, you can get by on quarter boxes. Now it's like $500 for a table. You have to raise those prices. JW in the house. Hope we do it again tonight. Go Cubs. And it's at a more reasonable time tonight at 6 o'clock tonight. Knackley Collectible says, good morning. Anybody else buying shares of the Masters on Robinhood? What? Found out they sell shares on major sporting events. Was doing it for the NCAA tournament. Pretty fun. No, I didn't even know this was a thing. I don't even know if I have Robinhood on my... I have it downloaded, but it's not showing up on my screen unless they changed the logo. So our friends' parents last night were talking about, speaking of changing logos, they said that AOL changed their logo, and I'm like, AOL is still in existence? Like I think we were all just dumbfounded. We were all just like, oh wow, like I had no idea AOL was still a thing, let alone had an app. Now I gotta look it up. AOL. Huh? Yeah, it's a yellow background with black lettering. So there you go. I don't know what AOL. Maybe it's news. Robinhood open. Yeah, it's just not on my screen. There's another one that's not on my screen anymore. I don't know why. So, okay, I want to find out about this whole investing in, where's search? Let's just type in masters. So where do you get to it? Robinhood. I don't use it. I have like some Doge coins. I have like $5 in investments. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it. I don't know. Interesting. Odd Merchant says my LCS has better bargain boxers than shows now. I unfortunately don't have any. The bargain boxes at some of my area card shops are $1, $3, $5 boxes. It's like, this is garbage. I don't want this. JW says it's on ESPN. So there is ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Stars of MLB in dollar boxes is criminal. Yeah. Stars of MLB in quarter boxes is criminal. What's going on? TK Rail Fan. What's going on? Good morning. That dude from Duryea. What's up? Red Light wants to know how the sale went. Went well. I didn't have any expectations on my storage unit sale. It's like I could nobody might show up. I might just hang out for 4 hours and sort through cards. Which would have been okay because I still have, boxes from my Goodwill pallet to go through. It's like, I'm out here. If I make some money, it's free money. So I ended up having 11 total people come through, which I was very happy with. I made more money at yesterday's sale. And this is going to go to Odd Merchants. This is similar. I'm glad that was brought up because I made more money yesterday selling out of my storage unit on quarter boxes than I did last Saturday at a 250 table card show selling quarter boxes. Now, fortunately, I have a trade out with the promoters, so I didn't have table fees, but I would have lost a lot of money. And let's see. So I think I did like $140 in sales last weekend. Tables, that would have been, that's right around what table price. I don't know what table prices were. I think they're $60. I don't know. Maybe they're probably $60. So that's 120 in table fees. Spending, I'm awake at 4:30. I'm not getting home till like almost 7. So it's like an entire day. There's tolls. There's gas. So that's a loss. And that's why you don't see quarter boxes at large card shows. And I had quarter boxes and I would have lost money. That's not strictly why I'm going, but it's a main contributor. It's like that particular show. I probably won't do Kane County in May. I will do that show because I've had success at that show. And maybe I would go set up again and I do well. You never know. That's also how card shows work. But I did more in sales yesterday out of my storage unit than I did last week. I did a little over $160 out of my storage unit. It was, and actually it wasn't even quarter box. It was dime cards that I was selling out of my storage unit. So I had 11 people come through, which I was happy with. Had 6 right off the bat. I was a little worried. So here's how it all went down. So I started renting the storage unit like right at the beginning of winter. Kind of poor timing on my part because I haven't been able to utilize it very much in the ensuing months. Well, I'm utilizing it by what it's there for, storage. But the real reason, I don't want to just pay it's now $160 a month. I don't want to just pay $160 a month to put a bunch of junky baseball cards, dime cards in my storage unit. I want it to earn me money. I want it to where I have a spot for all of my excess bulk. And it's like, I can put on Facebook Marketplace, here's my bulk, $500 for all of it. And people come in, load it up. I don't have to load up boxes and boxes into my car, meet somebody like, I'm not interested. And then I've got to haul it back, unload it. I don't want to go through any of that. So that was a main contributor. And then I was watching a reseller channel and they're like, yeah, I did a storage unit sale. And I'm like, I could just set up I have plenty of card show tables, do quarter boxes or dime boxes out of my storage unit. And then it's like, well, I got to make sure the storage unit management is okay with that. So I had to find a storage unit, and this one's super convenient, 5 minutes from my house, right off the belt line, right across from Menards. So if I need some shelving units, boom, right there. So when I went in to rent it, I'm like, well, can I have like a garage sale out of my storage unit? And she's like, there's like two managers at the place. She's like, yeah, I don't care. As long as there's not like a lot of cars, like I don't care. She's like, I don't know about my coworker, but I don't care. I'm like, okay. That's all I need. I got the verbal okay. Rent it. And basically if there's a whole bunch of, if 20 people show up and there's 20 cars, because it's not like there's a lot of room for parking and people could block other storage units. It's like, this could be a disaster for me and prevent future sales. So that was in the back of my mind, especially like right off the bat. I had 6 people right off the bat, which is awesome. But it's also like, if 6 more people come and there's 12 cars throughout, it's like, oh. But no, I had 6 people right off the jump. A couple guys left, and then a few more people trickled in like later on. So ended up working great. I didn't get in trouble. Nobody was blocking any other store. There's not the times, and I've been there several times now, and there's not much activity. Like, people aren't just going to the store. They're not like me going every freaking day. And so, hey, it worked out. So, and I made more money than what I did at the card show last weekend. And I only spent 4 to 5 hours, and I sorted cards that needed to be sorted anyway. So I got a lot done. I'm pretty much now through the Goodwill palette. Didn't really find much. I ended up finding, actually, I found 4 or 5 Jordan calling cards. Which, I'm like, I'll just put these in a lot. It's Jordans, maybe put them up on a live auction. They're all over the place, and they're pretty valuable. One sold for like $50 recently, $50, one that I actually have. So that was a nice find. Like, I didn't realize it until I got home, and I'm like, I'm going to check out what these Jordan calling cards do. And there was like 5 of those. There was an Aaron Rodgers rookie card. I did list that on eBay last night. Those have really decreased. I think the last Aaron Rodgers Topps Total rookie card I sold for 40 or 45. I mean, it's been a year ago. They're down to like $15-20. Other than that, I did not really find much. And I assume the rest of the stuff is, going to be junk. So I'm throwing a lot of cards away. And I'm throwing good cards just because I didn't have boxes. I'm like, I'm just going to throw these in a box. Some of them are already have dinged corners. So I offered it up to, did I offer it up to one of the guys that was, I'm like, I've got this box. He started flipping through and I'm like, you can have it. Like, I'm going to throw this away. So it's a lot of beat up, there's some decent, commons, I guess, that are not beat up, but it's just a lot of junk. If you want to dig through it and find something, a lot of junk wax. So haven't thrown it away yet, but it's there ready to be thrown away. So the sale went great. So the sale went well. I will do it again. I'll do it probably in May at some point. Again, it's going to be weather dependent. Obviously, I'll mention it here, and I'll post it in the Madison Card Show Facebook group. And I think that's where most of the people saw it. East Coast Tom was my biggest customer, and he brought beer. Thank you, Tom. He mentioned it in the chat. He's like, I'll bring the beer. And he did. East Coast Tom coming through. So thank you, Tom. So yeah, it was a good time. And we're just hanging out. I mean, every once in a while it was basically just a bunch of dudes hanging out in a storage unit sorting cards. It sounds like the nerdiest thing in the world. Kind of is. But I don't care. Like this is fun. That's fun for me. Hanging out, looking at baseball cards on a Saturday. The weather was nice. It was like 60 degrees, sunny. So I thought it was a good time. We'll definitely do it again. Railfan says, if a buyer buys 2 or more cards separately that you include free shipping and you ship together, do you offer a partial refund if the buyer did not ask? Typically, I don't. Because I don't have time to check. Sometimes I don't even see, because I do have and that's happened in my auctions where it's 99 cents, wait till the end and I'll send an invoice and they pay before the invoice is sent. Some people reach out and say, hey, can you send me an invoice? I'm sure it happens, but I don't have the time to like double check. So, it's on the buyer. If the buyer realizes it, they have to reach out. I'm not going to go through every transaction and be, oh, this person paid $1.98 in shipping instead of 99 cents. So if they ask, they'll receive the partial refund. I'm sure it happens, but I don't know how often. I need to get the combined shipping a little figured, especially for eBay Live. I haven't decided how I'm going to handle shipping on eBay Live. I've thought about free shipping. I've thought about 99 cent shipping up to like $5. And then, if you buy, say 99 cents per item, and then you get to 5, if you buy 5 cards, it's $4.95 and it ships in a bubble mailer. I've thought about doing how I do it currently for auctions. 1 to 4 cards is 99 cents. 5 to 9 is $1.25. 10 plus or whatever 10 plus is $4.25 or whatever. The only thing I've kind of ruled out is what I see a lot of eBay Live sellers at like $5 per item plus 25 cents. I think ComC's like $5.99 shipping plus. So I'm not going to do that because a lot of my stuff will be ESE. So I may learn more about that tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know if shipping, I would assume it's going to be handled the same as auctions. And that's how I see other sellers. And it's up to the seller. It's not like eBay Live. Everything's a set like $5. So I'm still trying to figure out how my eBay Live shipping will be handled. And I need to do more research into getting it properly set up so I don't have to send invoices out. Or when people reach out, they're like, hey, can you send me an invoice? I already paid. I got to send a refund. I want to avoid that. So Michael Renicky, good morning. Cooter says it's economics. It's hard to cover table costs on 25-cent cards. There's the comment. Yes, absolutely. Economics also says you shouldn't price out the market. Well, don't go to the 500 table card show if you're looking for quarter cards because you're not going to find them there. Go to the monthly mall show. Go to the monthly VFW show. Go to the monthly whatever show. You're not going to find 25-cent cards at 500 table shows at I assume Minnesota Card Show, Chicago Sports Spectacular. You're also paying admission for those larger shows, and yeah, it just doesn't work. Zach and Porter says, many are saying the Cubs could be the best team in baseball. I am certainly not saying. I'm a diehard Cubs fan, and I am not saying that. People say that every year, Zach. Then June arrives, and Cubs fans start looking forward to next year. Hey, I take offense. The old June swoon. Odd Merchant says, I go to shows with multiple $100 bills to buy hard-to-sell low-end cards. If dealers don't want to price accordingly, they carry their dead inventory home. And that's fine. That's fine. That's absolutely okay. And it happens at every show all across the country. There are dealers that this is my price, and it's probably over comps, and they're going to take it home. There are dealers that, well, I'm in it for this. And the market changes, and they're not going to sell that card. And it is what it is. It happens every day. Maybe not every day, every weekend. It happens every weekend. And you look and move on. I mean, that's all you have to do. If people don't have prices on their cards, it's annoying as fuck when cards aren't priced. You just look and move on. And that's all you can do. More people are rummaging through bargain boxes than looking in showcases. That is certainly not the case at the shows I go to. That is not the case at the shows I go to. I did at 250 table show last Saturday. Ton of people. Probably, I don't know what if they charged admission, so they have a guess. I'd say 1,500, give or take, at the show. And I'm going to tell you how many I did 21 sales. 21 sales. And I had 75,000 cards of quarter cards. People were not rummaging through bargain boxes. In fact, there was a dealer that had bargain box slabs in awesome. I showed these off. I showed them off last Sunday, and I got great deals. Nobody was looking. Nobody was looking at the bargain boxes. Now, I know this is different at every show, but at the shows I go to, are bargain boxes, are there people digging? Absolutely. Like I do okay. I don't do great out of my bargain boxes. And they're 25 cents, sometimes dime boxes. And usually I do better out of my dime boxes. But for the most part, you see a line, it's Pokemon, actually. The most people are around Pokemon tables. And then it's kind of, I would say the showcases and the bargain boxes probably very similar. The card shows I go to, I know this is not, where you're at, it might be different where I'm at. Bargain boxes just are not getting a ton of traffic. Yeah, and it depends on the dealer as well. Certainly depends on the dealer. Last weekend, though, even the good bargain box tables were not getting ravaged. But sometimes it is the case where the bargain boxes do get a lot of attention. Zach says, Porter and I are going to the Roma card show today with the Joes of getting 2025 flagship cards out of bargain boxes, checklist printed. Very nice. Very nice. That's in Racine today. I think there's like 3 card shows in Wisconsin today. Racine. I think there's a card show in Hartford today, and there's a card show in Pewaukee. So if you're in the Milwaukee area, there are 3 card shows probably within 45 minutes of each other. I don't know. Racine to Hartford or Pewaukee, I don't know. I think Pewaukee's more on the west side. I think Hartford's also on the west side as well. So I think there's 3 card shows today in the Milwaukee area. Is Racine Milwaukee area, though? I think it is. I think it's south of Milwaukee, not too far. Zach says, many people are saying Roma attendance will be impacted by the Saturday Dine Card Showcase in Dane County. Classic example of too many shows. I think 3 in one day in Milwaukee is a bit much. Nick's in the house. Examine Baseball says, my sales have been terrible in the past month, a bit slow on new inventory. I'm seeing the same, and I think a lot of people are. I honestly, and what do I always, now, most of the reason my sales are down is because I'm not listing very many. I've been focusing on preparation for eBay Live. I have been neglecting new inventory. But there was a time where I listed the Jerry Rice rookie card, the Ichiro rookie card. I listed what's in this pile, Jordans. It took a few days. Usually, as soon as those hit, now Jordan does take 24 hours, but usually when those hit, like I'm getting offers, I'm getting interest. They're selling. It took a few days. The Jerry Rice sold. And then yesterday I started moving some of the Jordans. So, but yeah, this past week up until really Saturday, Friday night into Saturday, my sales were like, it's like the faucet. It's like eBay turned the faucet off. And I know there was a lot of back end work. People were having issues with the app and with listing and all sorts of things. So I think normally I would take fault that my sales are down because of not listing, not doing anything. But I think this week, I think whatever eBay was doing, on the back end was really hurting the algorithm and just disrupting search and that sort of thing. Because my sales, even Friday, my sales were down, and then yesterday things picked up. I think actually Saturday was from a dollar standpoint because I made a decent sale that went into Friday's numbers. But outside of that, Friday would have been outside of that sale. Friday would have been a bad day. Yeah, I mean my whole week: Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was well below 50% of my average. And you look at my chart, and it's like, wow, that's significant. That's significant. And then finally, Friday, because of payment, it jumped up. Saturday was closer to, still a little lower than where I want to be, but closer to normal. Like it was an average, slightly. It was a normally where I should be. Like this week, my bad days were really, really, really bad. My good days this week were really, really bad from an average standpoint. So yeah, sales I was definitely seeing this week. In the first couple days, and I wait till there's a trend. The first couple days of the week, I'm looking at it and it's like, well, I haven't been listing. It's on me. Things will turn around, and then the whole week goes by, and it's like, okay, there's definitely it's more than just not listing new inventory. There's definitely something else going on that's killing my sales this week. Odd Merchant says April is when my store slows down until the end of July. Mine varies, and I've got Post-it notes. I need to put these up because I've done my of course now I want to find it. I just got too much shit in here. But I've tracked the last like 3 or 4 years to see what months drive the most sales, and there's really no trend. Like I was always before I actually looked at my numbers, I was always under the assumption that March, April, May were my best sale because of baseball, leading into baseball, even February, part of that. And I always thought December, January were my worst months. And really December, January have been some of my better months from a sales standpoint. 1 year, June was my best. I think it was 2023. I think June was my number one selling month. Last year was skewed a little bit with some of the purchases I made. But my biggest months were in the second half, were in third and fourth quarter. Previous years it has been, like February. Now, March is always a terrible month because I'm at spring training. July typically is a terrible month because, I'm at the National or I'm on vacation. So, a couple months are skewed and it varies. Like, I think 2023, June was my number one month. And I think last year, June was in the like 8 or 9 of my sales. So my sales are all over the place, which, doing this full time, like I'm not doing anything different throughout the year with the exception of, I found this awesome purchase in whatever month. So that drives up sales for that month and the next month and so on and so forth. So, I could get a great purchase in January, February, March, September, December, and it's going to affect my sales. Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning. Zach says, may I please get an explanation on buying shares of a sporting event? I would too. My GPT is not giving me anything around how this works. I'm assuming it's like sports betting. Who mentioned this? Because I don't understand it either. I was just under the assumption Nackley Collectibles says they sell shares on major sporting events. I don't know how. I'm curious. If Nackley is still here, I am curious. I couldn't find it. I was in the Robinhood app. I could not find what that was about. Oh, here he is. If you scroll down, it's under prediction markets on Robinhood. So is it basically like predicting winners? So it's basically sports gambling? Jody's in the house. Good morning. And maybe, what state are you in? I'm in Wisconsin, and we are anti-sports gambling in the state of Wisconsin, which saves me a little bit of money. So maybe since I'm in the state of Wisconsin, I'm closed off, because I know you can gamble sports in Illinois, other states. Red Light says, did you have any bitters left? Bitters. I don't know. Odd Merchant says, not really complaining about the price of the boxes, but the inventory in them. Most cards can be had on ComC for less than a quarter. And that's every box. Like most bargain boxes, a majority of bargain boxes that I see are, cards that I wouldn't even buy for a dime. And if they're in a $1 box, it's like these would be in my quarter box. I see that a lot. And that's why I typically only shop with dealers that I know, okay, I know what I'm getting out of these, and some will give me deals, and it's like I know, okay, these are already priced right. If I don't get a deal, I don't get a deal. But yeah, I think a large majority of bargain boxes aren't really bargains, not really bargains. Dad Dude from Duryea says, how many cards would be in a bulk buy for $500? I'm trying to figure a price for a truckload. So roughly 150,000. So that was what I was getting on my truckload sales on Facebook Marketplace. I would fill up the back of my SUV. It's about 150,000 cards, $500. And sometimes I'd sell it right away. Sometimes it would take a month. I think the last time I put one up never even sold, so I just took it down. So roughly 150,000 cards for $500. Garrett says, the Aaron Rodgers rookie I bought from you a few months ago got a PSA 10. A motherfucking 10. Holy shit. Tom, East Coast Tom's in the house. 2 shows I'm hoping to straggle into today. Pewaukee and Hartford. There's just too many small shows in Wisconsin these days. There are a lot of shows, especially here in Wisconsin. Small shows are the best, man. If you're looking for bargains, don't go to the Minneapolis Card Show. Don't go to the Chicago Sports Spectacular. Don't go to, the bigger regional shows. You're probably not going to find. Now, I'm sure there's going to be deals, but if you want to find really good deals, go to the VFW shows. Go to the high school gymnasium shows. Go to the one-off card shows. That's where you're going to find the steals and deals. You're going to go at those one-off shows. The bigger the show, the harder it is to find bargains, the more competition you have, and the more dealers you're dealing with. You go to a small show at a VFW or a school fundraiser show, you're going to have just like the random ripper that just has extra stuff that's like, I don't even care. I'll give it away, basically. So those are the type. If you want bargains, go to those small shows. I need to practice what I preach, because I have not been to one of those in quite some time, and getting the itch. That dude from Duryea says, dealers want liquid merch at card shows. It's more about carrying shit around and maneuvering through sites, carrying things you will sell and not being back. Andy Back, good morning. Odd Merchant says, the show was fun. I did, however, see one rude dealer yelling at his kid for trying to use his kid for a trade-up challenge. That is annoying as hell. Trade-up challenges. East Coast Tom says, I have people spending hours at my booth digging through my dime boxes at the Madison Card Show. I should charge rent and sell beer as well. There you go. Odd Merchant says he ended up picking up a Pokemon toy and yelled at him for it. I was about to buy the damn toy to shut the jerk up. Took every ounce of my patience to not say anything. I didn't want to start a conflict, but I did feel bad for the kid. This is a kid's hobby. Cooter says, people don't want to spend money in light of the economic uncertainty, or are spending extra income on items soon to be impacted by tariffs. Consumer sentiment is in the dumper. If I ever treat my kid that way, I quit the hobby immediately. Yeah, when you're yelling at kids in public, it's a bad look. Maybe my store slows down in the summer because I'm not as active with listing. Absolutely could be. Robinhood did for the 2024 election too. Interesting. Found treasures in the house. That dude says, I'm looking at a panel truckload. Yeah, and it also kind of depends on what's in it. Like, I'm selling 150,000, mostly commons, a lot of junk wax, a lot of in a lot of the new junk wax, which is ultra modern base, is just becoming 91 Fleer. And then sometimes, like the last truckload I had binders with had shacks in it, and so there's some decent stuff, but for the most part, it's a bunch of just commons. And it's great for if you like cards and bulk cards. I mean, $500 for 150,000 cards is a pretty good deal. If you need, I mean, a lot of it could be used for building sets. If you're a set builder, just wanting cards. And it also depends. Like, obviously, I have so much of that, I'm not in the market to buy it anymore. If I was, I'd absolutely pay $500 for a truckload of junk wax commons, and maybe something slipped through. You never know. And I'm always careful when I'm looking, like, okay, what's all in here. I also need to practice what I preach when I list another Facebook marketplace, not just list a bunch of boxes. My strategy was, it's all commons. Just assume it's all commons. It's a lot of junk wax if that's what you want. Obviously, that's not going to sell. I'm selling myself short because there is some decent stuff in there, but I also don't want to overpromise, like, oh, there's great stuff in here, and it's like, it's a lot of junk wax in here. So now, and I can in the past, I've had very limited space to take pictures and have a space for my bulk. Now I have the storage unit, so it's like, oh, I've got tables I can lay out. Okay, here's this box, that box. So probably this week, the bulk shelf that I have at my storage unit, I'll probably list that on Facebook Marketplace, see if I can move it. Found Treasure says, is it worth looking into starting a new show? I live in southern New Jersey, beach town, and there are no shows. They're all in the northern part of the state. Absolutely. I mean, if there's no shows in your area, absolutely. The hardest part in promoting a card show is finding a venue at a reasonable price. That's why a lot of times you don't see, it's a trickle down effect. You don't see good bargain boxes. Ernie's going batshit crazy upstairs because venues are expensive, which trickles down to table rent is going to be expensive, and dealers don't want to put out cheap shit. They want to make their money back on their tables so they can pay their table fee, and the promoter needs to make money on the venue, on the show. So that's the toughest part, is finding a venue that's reasonably priced. And then also, once you find a venue, make sure they have tables. Is there a setup fee? Then you go from there. But absolutely, I would not recommend starting a new card show in the state of Wisconsin. We have 6 every weekend. But if you're in an area that's underserved, I think absolutely it's worth a shot, because card shows are booming. And I would assume Racine's a good show. It's been going on for a while. I assume that traffic's going to be great there. Pewaukee and Hartford. I think Hartford's been kind of a longer-ish standing, couple years maybe. Pewaukee's new, but it's run by Lake Country Cards, and they've got a great shop, great promoters. So I think all 3 of those shows. Hey, what's up, buddy? What are you barking at? So I think all 3 shows over in the Milwaukee area will be good today. Knackley Collectible says it's a prediction market. No. Hey. No. Ugh. Where's your bone, buddy? Where's your bone? Ernie wants to play and chew baseball cards. Odd Merchant says, I love small shows, but you run into the same dealers with the same inventory. And that's kind of the downside to smaller shows. And a lot of the reason you run into the same dealers is, there goes Leon Durham. A lot of the reason is smaller shows could be, what happens is there's too much demand for the show. Previous dealers get first right, and they come back every month. And the smaller the show, more dealers want to stay, and that's what happens. Watch this. Hey, that's Mike Harkey. Mike Harkey. You've got a lot of energy this morning. All right. I should probably go play with Ernie so he's not chewing my baseball cards. Hey. Are the geese outside? Where's the geese? Where's the geese? Where's the geese? Yeah. Where's the geese? Where's the geese? Where's the geese? All right. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Come here, buddy. He really wants that Mike Harkey card. Ernie needs his own live stream. Yeah. So they do live stream the doggy daycare, and Spaz is his best friend. Spaz, I think, is a Shih Tzu, and Spaz is a Spaz, and so is Ernie. And so they frickin' play, and it's fun. So Dogtopia live stream. All right. Like and subscribe. Visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Buy some cards for me so I can afford some bones for Ernie so he doesn't chew my Mike Harkey baseball cards. Have a wonderful Sunday. Back at it tomorrow morning. eBay live training session is tomorrow. So Tuesday, I'll give you an update on where my standing is on selling on eBay Live. Could be as early as this week. So I'll have more information on Tuesday morning. So with that, have a great Sunday. See you tomorrow.